I know that nobody really watches this channel anymore, and I might just discontinue things in the near future. But for now, my my lack of popularity has actually spurred me on. The erosion of whatever audience I once had has actually made me more motivated, um, because there's something freeing, if you will, about coming to notice that nobody's really like like Beatrice says to Benedict in an early scene of Much Ado About Nothing. I don't know why you keep talking, Benedict. No one marks you. Um, well, but when no one marks you, when no one's paying attention, and it's not, by no one I don't, of course, mean literally no one, but you know what I mean. It's more like you can just say what you want. You don't have to tailor it to an audience. Not that I've ever really done that, mind you. But I'm just going to talk about things that interest me, and what interests me right now is discussing the very first episode of The Love Boat, season 1, episode 1 of The Love Boat. Now, you might have to be Gen X to know to really know much about the role the Love Boat played as a television phenomenon. I was never a fan of the show, but I ended up seeing a whole bunch of episodes for some reason. I don't know why. It's very it's a show that just always went down really smoothly. You know, it was never that funny, um, but it was just entertaining enough to sort of pass an hour, and you know, you didn't really have to. I mean, it's sort of it's the way I guess that television is in general to a lot of people, or was. Now it's the internet that's taken its place. But some people can just plant themselves in front of television and or could back in the heyday of television, and just keep watching and watching and watching, no matter what was on. I was never able to do that, but Love Boat had this kind of it captured this. Well, I mean, it was. I always. I like ships. I like being at sea. So there's something, I guess, like cool about the idea of they're on a ship, you know, going through the ocean, and you know, I don't really know what to say beyond that. Like the characters, the staff of the Love Boat, I guess they were semi-engaging, semi-humorous. Gopher, you know, the Gavin McLeod as the captain. Whatever. Isaac, of course. Isaac, the bartender, um, and the rest of them. But this first episode was interesting to watch just because it it uh, it it showed what was interesting. Well, it showed, you know, look, all almost all television is programming. It's programming in on two levels. It's programming, of course, and then it's been programmed. You know, it's programmed in the more prosaic sense of, you know, well, they've programmed this schedule, so this show's on at this time and blah blah blah. But it's also programmed to reflect the values that they want you to have, generally speaking. And it's able to do this, I think, without necessarily there having to be too much censorship or too much, you know, it's like, it's more or less, you know, the entertainment industry reflects back at us what what we're told we should believe, more or less. So to some extent, almost all TV shows have been low grade propaganda. Some higher than low grade. You can go back and watch the video that I recorded about the state of these CSI, these procedural shows that I recorded back in 2021 when I was lying in a motel room in Dallas, Texas, feeling sick. Just watched a lot of actual television, which is something I hadn't done in a while. Okay, but the Love Boat. Okay, so it's about love, it's about romance, and so forth. But what were the actual plot lines of this original episode? How this came up is, it was just there on YouTube. It was like, I have, I guess Paramount shows and movies come free to me on YouTube because of something I agreed to pay at some point. Doesn't really matter. So I all of a sudden the video like episode 1 of The Love Boat came up, and so I'll just let me tune in and check this one out. Well, here we go. At almost the 7-minute mark of this video, I actually begin talking about the subject matter. 2 plot lines that I'm going to discuss that I think are interesting, that reflect the values of the time, and they continue to reflect the values of our time, except we've gotten worse. It's only gotten worse since the show's been on. But when the show was on, it was the early days of the sexual revolution. It was the late 70s, maybe 77 or so, I'm thinking. And so there was one plot line which involved Jimmy Walker from Good Times. The Dynamite, that guy. And his girlfriend was getting on this cruise all by herself, and he was saying, no, baby, no, don't get on that ship. And he follows her on board, and it turns out that they're having an argument, and the argument is she wants him to propose. They've been living together for a couple years. She wants more commitment from him. She wants him to propose. He says, well, can't we just, we got to enjoy our freedom, girl. Remember that show Roots? We've only had our freedom for a relatively short time. Very topical black humor of the period. And she's like, shut up, get off this ship. I'm leaving you behind because you're not committing to me. And she ends up, this black girl is rooming with this white girl. This white girl, sort of like a good time girl, party girl. And so she takes this black girl under her wing, and they go out and party together. And the girl, the black girl she doesn't take it too far. We don't see her hooking up with other guys or anything like that. But something happens. Something changes for her during this trip. Something changes her whole frame of mind about her husband, or about her boyfriend, about wanting her boyfriend, wanting to have a commitment from her boyfriend. And he follows her to every port of call. I guess it's still like the boat. I thought the Pacific Princess just went to Hawaii, but I guess not always. In this episode, it goes to different places along the west coast of Mexico, I think. Cabo San Lucas, I think, is one of them, if I'm saying that right. And he follows her and shows up at every port with some romantic gesture, like bringing her flowers, or one time he rides up on a boat and saying, "Please, baby, come on, give me another chance." But and she always thinks, "Oh, he's finally going to propose to me," but Jimmy Walker from Good Times refuses to propose. He just thinks they should go on living together. And that's fine. He loves her and she loves him. So why change things up? And so she parties a little bit, as I said, with the white girl that she's rooming with, which is a strange thing. I guess back then if you were getting on a cruise as a single, you could just get matched with a stranger and share the same room, which I don't know if I don't think that's a thing now. But so they're two single girls hanging out together, partying, and like I said, we don't see her do anything crazy. We don't see her with other guys, but by the time she comes back to Los Angeles or wherever the Pacific Princess leaves, whatever the original port of call is. By the time they get back there, she's like kind of mellow. She's kind of more, what's the term? She's not as uptight. That was a word they used at the time. If you watch shows from the 70s, like, people are always like, there's a character who's like a stickler, or he or she is too traditional minded, and they say, "Hey man, why are you so uptight? You're just too uptight. Hey, Mr. Uptight." Like uptight is like the worst thing you can be called. They don't use the word uptight for this girl, but she's basically too uptight. But by the time she gets back, she's less uptight. And he's said, by this time, he's had a change of heart. He says, "Look, girl, okay, I love you enough. I want you in my life, so I will marry you. Let's get married. I'm proposing to you now." And brings her flowers. And she says, "Well, you know what? I don't think we need to get married. Let's just keep on living together." And this just totally, this was a curveball for me. I was like, what? Like, what? So what was the point? What was the point of everything? And he's like, "Well, wouldn't it be a good thing to get married?" And she says, "Well, let's just go home and talk about it." So I guess it remains kind of unresolved, but the quote unquote lesson that she learns is that it's okay to keep living together with this guy and not living in sin with this guy, and not getting married. Interesting. Well, what is that telling us? I mean, that's definitely teaching us something. There's definitely some propagandistic aspect to that. And I don't know if it's important that this is a black couple or not. If they're singling out like like blacks somehow especially need to be reminded not to get married, to forget about marriage of all demographics. Like, that just seems like the most evil kind of propaganda you can possibly manufacture, the most destructive kind of propaganda. It's not like the white demographic was. I mean, a lot of people were getting divorced, but there was still, and a lot of people were cohabitating, but marriage was still more of a thing among whites at that time, as it is now, even though things are even shittier now, as I said, for everybody, and values in general are shittier now than they were then. So that was plot number one. the other subplot of this episode of Love Boat is that I think is interesting to talk about. Also, very related to the sexual revolution. It involves a character played by the actress Meredith Baxter Birney. Now she was later the mom on Family Ties, and I think today, if I'm not mistaken, she's like a butch lesbian. But back then, she was this pretty blonde girl, this young blonde woman in her 20s, and she's getting on the ship with her fiance, who's going to be running for office, who's about to run for senator or something, and she confides in what's her name, Julie, the girl, the purser, or whatever her role is supposed to be. She takes her aside to confide in another girl, and she says, "Look, I've got this problem. I a few years ago, when I was in college, I needed money, so I posed nude for this magazine, and just now, the issue with me as the centerfold has come out, and so I can't let my fiance know. If he finds out, he'll hate me, and he'll leave me behind. He'll leave me in the dust, and because it'll just be ruinous for his political career. What do I do?" And so Julie agrees to buy up or take most of the issues of this magazine, which is called Kitten. It's basically Playboy, but they call it Kitten magazine on the show, so she's able to take most of them off of the ship's I don't know, the store where the ship has things stocked where you can buy, including magazines. But three of them were already purchased. So then Meredith Baxter Birney tracks down the three guys who bought the issue and finds a way to take the centerfold out and burn it, and like it's fine. It's like there's nothing. It's mildly amusing. But then the twist at the end, like after the staff tells her, basically, look, you've got to be honest with your fiance because he's going to find out sooner or later, and you got to tell him what actually went down. And so she says, I have, in this scene near the end, she says, I have to tell you something about what I did. And then he says, this is the first time we've really heard anything from him. And he's like, he has this totally sleazy, like 70s swinger guy, kind of, hey baby, yeah. Even though he's a politician, he's like the hair parted in the middle, the 70s hairdo. So he's like, you know what, baby, it's cool. I'm exaggerating the sleazy way he's talking, but it's basically something like, here I bought my own copy of Kitten before we even left, and he says, look, it's okay. I don't mind other men looking at what only I can have. And he says, look, Jimmy Carter told Playboy that he lusted in his heart, and now he's the president. So after this, I'll probably be elected king. And so it's like, oh, he doesn't really care. It's okay with him that she posed nude, and now millions of men are looking at her nude body. And this is the woman that he's marrying. And of course, we see the message being promoted there. Just, posing nude is a matter of no consequence. And if you're an enlightened man, you'll just shrug about it and and it won't be a big deal, and you'll take pride in it, in fact. So there you go, the Love Boat, helping to promote good, healthy American values from its very inception.